Close the door. Just for a moment, close the door and sit down. You do not have to explain why you are tired. You do not have to perform peace you do not feel. Not here. Not with me. I know the exact sound of this room when it is quiet and everyone else has gone to sleep. I know the weight that sits on your chest right before you close your eyes. You have smiled through a whole day that nearly broke you, and no one saw it. I saw it. This is not a message for a crowd. This is not a general word floated out to whoever happens to be listening tonight. I asked for this door to be closed because what I am about to say was written for one person. It was written for you, and I have been waiting a long time to finally say it. You almost scrolled past this. Something made you stop. That was not an accident, and it was not luck either. That was me, making sure this particular message reached you on this particular night, out of every night you could have found it. You have carried something quietly for a long time. Maybe it is a marriage that looks fine from the outside and feels lonely from the inside. Maybe it is a bank account that keeps you awake doing math at 2 in the morning, moving numbers around that never seem to move enough. Maybe it is a prayer you stopped saying out loud because it felt foolish to keep asking for the same thing over and over. You have learned how to hold your face still while your heart is somewhere else entirely, somewhere no one else has been invited to go. Have you ever rehearsed the words "I am fine" in your head before anyone even asked how you were doing? You have asked yourself if you did something wrong to deserve this silence. You have wondered if you missed a sign, if you prayed the wrong way, if you were simply too much or not enough. That question has kept you up more nights than you have told anyone. It has followed you into rooms full of people, sat next to you at dinner tables, waited quietly while you laughed at jokes you barely heard. I am not asking you to keep carrying it tonight. There is a particular kind of exhaustion that comes from being strong for everyone else while quietly falling apart yourself. Friends see your strength and assume you are fine. Family leans on you and never asks who holds you up. You answer the phone with a steady voice and hang up and sit in silence for a long time afterward, staring at nothing, feeling nothing and everything at once. That silence, that private unraveling behind a closed door, I have been in the room for every single one of those nights. You know exactly which night I am talking about. There was a particular evening, was there not, when you sat with your phone in your hand and almost called someone, and then set it back down because you did not know how to explain what you were feeling without sounding dramatic. You have had more of those nights than you would ever admit out loud. I was there for each one, even the ones you have already forgotten. There was another night too, was there not, when you lay awake running through every version of a conversation that never actually happened. You rehearsed what you would say if someone finally asked the real question instead of the polite one. No one ever asked. You went back to sleep still holding all of it by yourself. So where have you gone looking for relief? Be honest with yourself for a moment, because I already know the answer and I am not here to shame you for it. You have tried to manifest your way out of this, speaking things into existence and hoping the universe would finally cooperate if you just wanted it badly enough. You have tried to white-knuckle it through sheer willpower, waking earlier, working harder, gritting your teeth until your jaw ached at the end of every day. You have scrolled advice from strangers who sounded confident and said nothing that actually reached the ache underneath. You have numbed the feeling instead of facing it, one distraction at a time, one show after another, because facing it felt like too much for one person to hold. You have read horoscopes on hard mornings, half believing, half hoping, just wanting one small hint that things would turn around soon. You have made bargains in the quiet of your own mind, promising to change if only the pressure would let up for a while. None of it reached the place that actually hurt. None of that makes you weak. It makes you human. Fear does that to a person. Pride does that to a person, telling you it is safer to fix it alone than to risk asking and hearing silence again. Exhaustion does that to a person, when you have knocked on a door so many times you stop expecting it to open at all. Broken trust does that to a person too, when the last time you truly hoped for something, it fell apart in your hands. There was a man named Joseph who understood this better than almost anyone in Scripture. He was thrown into a pit by his own brothers, the very people who should have protected him. He was sold into slavery, falsely accused in a house that was never his own, and forgotten in a prison cell for years after he had done nothing but stay faithful in the dark. He had every reason to believe he had been abandoned completely. He had dreams once, dreams that told him he was meant for something more than what his circumstances were showing him. Then reality seemed to mock every one of those dreams for over a decade. Years passed with no explanation. Men he had helped inside that prison forgot him the moment they walked free, exactly when he needed them to remember his name. Picture him some evening in that cell, listening to footsteps outside his door and wondering if this would finally be the day someone remembered his name. It was not that day. It was not the next one either. He must have wondered, more than once, whether the dream he carried as a boy had simply been a trick his own mind played on him. He kept getting up anyway. He kept being faithful in a place that gave him no reason to be. But the years in that prison were never wasted years. While Joseph waited in a cell he did not choose, I was already arranging a throne room he could not yet see. The very delay he thought was punishment was actually preparation, shaping him in ways comfort never could have. The very people who forgot him were being positioned, without knowing it, to need him one day more than they had ever needed anyone. What looked like abandonment from the ground was never abandonment from where I was standing. Think about how long that waiting lasted for him. 13 years is a long time to hold on to a dream nobody else believed in anymore, not even his own family. 13 years of ordinary days that looked like nothing was ever going to change. And then, in what felt like a single afternoon, everything he had waited for arrived all at once, faster than he could have imagined, exactly when it was needed and not a moment before. I am telling you this because your waiting is not empty either. The door that has not opened yet is not a door I have forgotten. The prayer you stopped saying out loud is not a prayer I stopped hearing, even on the nights you gave up mid-sentence. What feels like silence on your end has never been silence on mine. I have been arranging things in rooms you cannot see, moving people and timing and doors long before you were ready to walk through them. Let me tell you what happened to someone very much like you, not long ago. She had stopped expecting her phone to ring with good news. Bills had piled up in a drawer she avoided opening. A friendship had gone cold without explanation, and she had quietly given up asking for anything specific in her prayers because hoping for something exact felt too risky after so many disappointments. One ordinary evening, tired and half convinced nothing would change no matter what she did, she almost did not answer an unknown number flashing on her screen. She almost let it go to silence, the way she had let so many other days go to silence before it. She answered anyway. It was not a miracle with fireworks. It was a small door, opened at exactly the right moment, an opportunity she had never applied for finding her instead of the other way around. A conversation she was not expecting led to work she needed more than she had let herself admit. A stranger showed her a kindness so specific, so oddly timed, it could not have been random. She sat in her car afterward and cried, not because it solved everything all at once, but because for the first time in months she felt seen by something bigger than coincidence. "I want you to notice something." She almost missed it. The answer came dressed as an ordinary moment, an unknown number, a small kindness from someone she would never see again, and it would have been easy to walk past it without recognizing my hand in it at all. Do not let your answer pass you by because it did not look the way you expected it to look. There is another man, one you may never meet, who prayed for provision for months and had almost stopped mentioning it in his prayers at all. On a Tuesday that looked like every other Tuesday, a letter arrived that he almost threw away without opening, thinking it was nothing but another bill. It was not nothing. It settled something he had carried for a very long time. He sat at his kitchen table afterward, quiet, holding the paper in both hands, finally understanding that the silence had never meant no. Have you already had a moment like that and brushed past it, calling it luck instead of calling it me? Remember the ache you told no one about earlier tonight, the one you have been carrying behind a steady voice and a still face for longer than you can measure. Remember the night you almost called someone and set the phone back down, holding it all by yourself instead. That ache was never proof that I left you. It was the very place I was working the whole time, quietly, patiently, while you assumed you were alone in it. Here is the one sentence I need you to hold on to long after tonight is over. I never left the room when you thought I did, and the very silence you feared was me preparing the answer you almost gave up on. Read that again if you need to. Let it settle into the parts of you that have been guarding themselves for a long time, the parts that learned to expect disappointment before anything even happened. Now let me pray over you, the way a father prays over a child he has watched carry too much for too long. I ask for wisdom to fill the places where you have been guessing and guarding yourself out of fear. Give this one clarity where there has been confusion, and give them peace where there has been noise that will not quiet down no matter how late the hour gets. I ask for protection over their home, over their body, over their mind late at night when the worry gets loud and will not leave them alone. I ask for courage, not the kind that pretends nothing hurts, but the kind that keeps walking forward while it still does hurt. Let them stop apologizing for needing help. Let them stop believing that strength means never breaking, because even the strongest hands need somewhere to rest. I ask for healing in the places no one else has been allowed to see, the grief they buried under work, the disappointment they folded up small and tucked away so no one would ask about it twice. Heal what has gone unspoken for far too long, gently, without forcing it open before its time. I ask for faith to return where it has grown thin, not a loud faith, just enough to keep one hand open instead of clenched shut around what little they have left. I ask for restoration in whatever has quietly broken, a friendship gone quiet, a marriage that has grown distant, a piece of themselves they thought was gone for good. I ask for provision where there has been lack, real and specific provision, not vague hope. I ask for breakthrough in the exact place they have almost stopped believing one is possible. Meet them in their family relationships with patience they did not know they still had left to give. Give them peace that does not depend on their circumstances changing first. Give them strength for tomorrow morning before it even arrives, before their feet touch the floor. Watch over their children if they have children, and watch over the ones who feel like children to them even if no blood connects them. Guard their marriage or guard their hope for one, whichever this person is carrying tonight. Restore what years have quietly taken and give back what fear has quietly stolen. I ask for their body, worn from carrying weight it was never meant to carry alone. Let sleep come easier tonight than it has in a long while. Let their shoulders drop an inch they did not even know were raised. Quiet the part of their mind that keeps replaying old conversations and old wounds late into the night. I ask for their friendships, the ones that have gone quiet from distance or misunderstanding or simple exhaustion. Soften what needs softening. Reconnect what is meant to be reconnected, and give them peace about the ones that are not meant to continue. Let them stop mistaking a season ending for a life falling apart. I ask for their work and their calling, wherever they are unsure if they are in the right place at all. Give them a clear next step, even a small one, rather than the whole map at once. Let them rest in one obedient step at a time instead of demanding to see the entire road tonight. Surround them with people who see them clearly and love them anyway. Remove the ones who only drain and never fill. Let their home, however big or small, feel like a place of rest rather than a place of performance. If these words found the exact place in you that needed them tonight, let it be known, even if only to me. You do not have to say it to anyone else out loud. Just know that I heard it, and I already knew before you did. There is likely someone else you love carrying this same silent weight tonight, smiling through something heavy, answering the phone in a steady voice while falling apart underneath it the way you have. They may need these same words tonight too, more than you realize. You can open the door again now. Whatever waited outside it is still there, but you are not walking back out the same way you walked in. Something has settled into place tonight that was not settled before you closed that door. Whatever tomorrow holds, you will not carry it the same way you carried yesterday. You will still have hard moments. You will still have questions I have not answered yet. But you will carry them differently now, knowing the room was never empty, knowing I was never gone. I am not finished with this story. I never was, and I never will be. Rest now. I have got the rest of it.